And we live.
We live. Hell
We
yeah.
live. What's
All
up,
right.
man?
What's up, Jay? Thank you for doing this. It is always a pleasure whenever I can grab a minute of your time. I feel inspired as hell just talking to you and learning from you. And while we were setting this up, I said I might ask some pointed questions. I'm not as it not like I'm coming at you. Just like so people can hear your stories because you are somebody that I look at as a role model and a mentor. Even though we talk whenever
Yeah.
you got time, like once a month maybe, but
And I tell
uh,
you not to.
uh, you're doing this the right way, and you're just being a great, genuine person. You're staying true to who you are, and it's everything I want to emulate as I go down this journey and really just starting this journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you hopping on, and yeah, excited to do this. Excited.
Hey, man, I gave you my word a couple of weeks ago that we do this, and here I am. Let's get it.
Hell yeah. All right, I guess we can start for any of my listeners that don't know you. Let's say they came from maybe the Doge community, did an episode with them, and or they were Peter Holland fans. I don't know. If they don't know you, who are you? Who's Jay Brown?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for them not to know me because I try to get around to. If you're a retail investor, that's always my motto. If you're a retail investor, I want to try to connect with you. Uh, Regular guy, bought a stock January 2021. Uh, FOMO. I regretted selling some Bitcoin years ago when Bitcoin first came out. Oh, I'd be a millionaire. You wouldn't even know me, possibly. But got a chance to buy in, and it was a company that I actually believed in, and the interactions I was getting, and I took a chance because I tell everybody this all the time is that you have to keep your empathy level at a 5 living in this world, right? Because you don't know who coming at you and how they coming at you, right? But in this particular situation where it wasn't about race, it wasn't about sexual orientation, it wasn't about gender, it wasn't about anything but a group of people and their money, right? So it's hard to fight about something that everybody has in common, right? So I was like, man, you know what? I could take that thing and turn it from a 5 to a 10. I could love everybody. You know what I'm saying? I could connect with everybody, no problem. And when I first started talking in spaces, like I was never shy about speaking in spaces. You know what I'm saying? Like it just I talk to the grocery store clerk. I talk to the guy that's picking up the bucket. So it's not like I'm a shy person when it comes to that. But I guess, from that point, it began to, kind of start coming into view. Like all the things I have gone through in life kind of prep me, for what we're doing right now. Like I'm not afraid of certain things. I wasn't afraid to give my name, to get background check, to do certain things. I wasn't afraid to bring who I was to social media as opposed to social media telling me who I am. Because I think the cycles of it, right? The levels of growth that I had to go through in this thing. I was angry as hell when I first bought in because they shut off the buy button, right?
Yeah.
And then I got even more angry as I started finding out about how the market works and how uneven it is, right? It irritates you. It makes you mad. Like I've been invested in a 401k, a pension plan, and you mean to tell me they're using my money to stay rich and I'm still struggling? This is some bull. And I was like, nah. So that passion that I carry around with me, it had a purpose. And as I started to learn and grow, I began to be less angry and more focused. And I tell people all the time is that I stay in my lane. My lane is connection and education. And then I added advocacy. And it just went that way. So, that's for me, bro. That's just been always been my thing, bro. If you're a retail investor, I tell people all the time, I can walk and chew gum at the same time. I can be a part of the community that I came in with, but I can also advocate for not just other communities, but other retail investors. Because if you don't have a broker buying a stock for you, or buying derivatives, or NFTs, or crypto for you, you're a retail investor. No matter what you want to call yourself, that's who you are. So therefore, if something is directly affecting your ability to, participate on the level that you deserve to participate on because you don't have, $1 billion fund behind you, or you're not somebody that's well off, you deserve that equal footing as best it can be done. So I mean, that's that. It just took on a different race for me. That's all.
That's super cool, man. I actually loved how you said, not only how you said your definition of retail investor. 'Cause I think a lot of people confuse that, like a lot of the time, and you're completely right. And we're all fighting kind of the same fight. It's really the same war. There's just different battles going on. And part of what was really cool about today, when this gets posted, I'm not exactly sure, but on this day, GameStop just ran 50% for everyone listening in the after hours. And I know there's a ton of people. I own more AMC than I do GameStop. I do own both. I know some people own one or the other. Maybe they're just in crypto, or maybe they're just in whatever stock it is. Again, you own stocks for yourself. I mean, you're a retail investor, and I saw so much joy going on just for people. Like the tweets I loved the most were like, "I'm happy for everyone's. I'm not in the play. But I'm happy for everyone's in the play." And I think that has grown. There's always going to be crazy stuff, drama going on. It's Twitter, It's called the good of Twitter, not all of Twitter.
It's the
Like,
internet. It's the internet, man. Because
yeah, man,
I saw
it's the
that.
internet.
Yeah,
Uh,
I saw that, and I sent out a tweet because when all this first started, man, and I started moving around in crypto and uh, moving around in GME spaces and BBIG spaces and Mullen spaces and crypto spaces and NFT spaces, I started to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to fully diversify myself with just yours, but I am going to buy some in solidarity. And the first thing I did when I saw it ran, 50%, is I sent out a tweet. Wow, congrats, GME. Celebrate retail for retail. And I meant it because that's always been the thing, right? Like you'll have people that come at you and say, hey, you know what, GME is the only way. No, AMC is the only way. I truly believe this in my heart of hearts. Whatever your convictions are, that is the way. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't work for your money, so I don't get to tell you what you love, just like you don't get to tell me what I love. And we call it a day.
Absolutely, man. And that's funny because one of my brothers just talked. I was talking to him the other day. He told me that the most nerves you have. I hope it is nerves. I might be getting that wrong. But the most nerves you have are in your brain. But the second amount of most nerves you got are in your gut. And so when people say listen to your gut, that's really where it comes from, man. It's like, hey, there's something going on here. It knows something. It's a smart part of your body. So I 100%, 100%. Wherever your conviction is, that's where you go. Absolutely. And that's what most of my money is. Like when I started investing, I started with one stock. I like outside of 401k stuff and S&P and all that. Um, I started with one stock. Like 100% of my portfolio that I was controlling individually was an AMC. And then once I found conviction in other stocks, for various reasons, BlackBerry is a company that I've learned, like I've loved the more I learn about them. And I think they got a great future. Hopefully I'm right, but I think they do. I kind of went, all right, now I have two stocks.
Right.
And wherever that conviction led me is to where I've gone 100%. That's how you play the game. Like rule number one, that's how you play the game is you go where your conviction leads you.
Oh,
And
without a
yeah, man,
doubt.
trust your gut. Keep learning and all of that. Keep educating yourself. Always keep learning. But yeah, I'm right there with you.
That's how you grow, man. I tell people all the time. People say, "Well, what if this happens?" Well, some of the lessons you learn are learned the hard way, right? So it began. I'm telling you, man. It really it evolved, bro. That's why I call it cycles. Like if you notice, the disagreements come in cycles, right? The growth comes in cycles because this is a situation that's unheard of, right? You have new people getting in every day. Then you have people who have been in for 6 months. Then you got people who've been in for 2 years. You got people that have been fighting this whole retail fight for several years, even before any of the so-called meme stocks came about. So it's for me being a history grad, everything revolves around history, right? And that's the thing. Like I never downplay anybody's feelings. You feel how you feel. If you upset with me, cool. I'm not finna cut you off and block you because you mad with something I did. That's just fine. I'm not finna get upset with you because you believe this to be fact now, but you don't know the history of it. because that's where it all comes from, bro. We all piled into a space, and we grew from this one space, but we grew to the point to where some people stayed until that space dissolved, and some people like myself that once others were available, I come and go as I please. I've always done that. Like, but even with the YouTubers were good in a sense when we first started doing this because it brought exposure.
Absolutely, they were great, and they also brought education. Like this is actually one of the topics that's popped in my mind. I want to talk about for a minute, because the empathy thing and the appreciation. I've appreciated everyone that's come into this play, and one of those kind of cyclical character, one of the characters in the drama of if this was a show, uh, Matt Kors. He taught like if it wasn't for him, I would have never learn the basics. I would have never really got into this because I got to whenever I had time at work, which I'm doing sales now, so I got no time for that no more. Whenever I got time at work, I just say, hey, I can throw something on in the background. It was him or Trey I was throwing on, and I would learn something, or maybe Dave Lauer went on there one time. Like I just learned little bits, and that led me to a point where oh, I can go learn from more sophisticated traders and I can go learn from other people and it brought me to different sources on Twitter. And so when he wanted to be kind of move on from this, it seems I don't know, whatever. But it seems says that way, like, hey, thank you for what you've done. Thank you for bringing people here through education and providing what you wanted to provide and go do you, man. And I again I don't really follow the drama on Twitter. That's partially probably why I love Twitter is because I'm not one of those people seeing it. I was like, oh no, this is great, man.
Hey
Everyone's
man,
so
some of this stuff is self-inflicted, and
yeah,
the way I look at it is this: is that you have people who grow past what you have to offer. And the way I looked at it is that like you, I watched all of the YouTubers. You see my background. I always say, hey man, follow the breadcrumbs because if I don't think you're an expert, but I think you know more than me. I'm not gonna take everything you say and make my fact right. Like it's certain principles that I have about me. Nobody replaces God in my life. Absolutely no one. And after God, it's me. So I'm not going to replace anybody with me, first off. And then I'm definitely not going to replace with God. So whether they do something that is not likable or not respectful or not lovable, I'm not as hurt by it because I never put them on a pedestal in the first place. They're people. So the way I look at it is that for the people who don't like these folks, right? You entitled to not like them. For the people that do like them, you entitled to like them. Like I've always separated all of that stuff, bro, because here's the thing. I don't get to dictate what you like, but what I do get to do is promote you to say what you like and not have that famous word. I'm speaking for those who don't speak. If I hated nothing else in this entire thing, I hate that because that's one of my big promoters. Like I bring people the joy, the comfort, the relaxation to say, hey man, look, what you got to say? Come on up the speaker. Come on. Because, bro, throughout this thing, bro, it's grown in such a way. And what I would always do is try to figure out a way to stop the beast. Like when we first started Spaces, you got 500 people in the space. You got the host of the space, and then you got the regular speakers that speak all the time. Then you got the people who want to request, and then the host phone freezes up, and then that's before co-hosts. That co-host wasn't even a part of spaces at that point. So you had one host trying to, do everything, and you had some host that was shaded that was saying they was trying to bring people up, but really they was lying about their phone being broken. It was all kind of madness going on. So what I did is that I would have spaces that were not ticker specific. They focused strictly on connection. So we didn't talk about the stock. We didn't talk about the plate. We talked about each other. We talked about who we were, how we were. So when people came up, you didn't have anything to fight about. You didn't have anything that you were going to say so far out of the way to where the space just ended in chaos. So each step of the way, every time we found a different thing to argue about, I tried to counter that by putting something out that allowed that narrative. And my thing is, I tell people all the time, I had somebody tell me one time, man, I sat in the space for 3 hours. The host owes me my time back. No, they don't. You chose to sit your ass in that space for 3 hours. That's your fault. Like, we look for people to blame. We look for people to blame for the decisions we make, and I'm just not that person. I'm not gonna blame anybody if when I talked to Gary Gensler, I didn't ask what all the things I wanted to ask, right? But I'm going to also look at it like first time ever doing this, second time ever doing this. Got to make sure I represent my family well. Got to make sure I represent myself well. Got to make sure
Absolutely.
I ask something because it took a lot of work to get to this point. And one thing I definitely don't want to do is look stupid, right? So if you're going out of your depth, it makes you look stupid. But at the same time, I also believe you can only climb a ladder one rung at a time. So
Absolutely.
I'm working backwards. My goal ultimately is to have retail in front of Congress because they're the ones that make the law. So when you really want to be pointed at them because they make the laws. I'm sorry. It's just what it is. Like, I don't give a damn about the chair. I give a damn about the position because the person can be interchangeable, but these people, we vote them in. And I think they have to really just start representing the people. I don't give a damn about a laptop or suppression on Twitter. I don't.
I
I
don't know.
think it,
I'm right. No, I'm right there with you.
you
That's
know,
actually that's the way you gotta vote, and that's the funny part of like I think my age of people, we love to say that, oh, we know it's all the news is fake, and we some people my age at least like to say like, oh yeah, we know it's it's the illusion of choice. But then when you kind of press someone like that, it's like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean
right.
that the Republican Democrats the same? They kind of freeze up like, well, it's the money, man. It's the money. It's the
That's
banks.
it.
It's like
It's
it's like
simple
it's the
like
way that
that,
like,
right?
dude. Uh, yeah, but we love to say people my age love to be woke in that way, and like, but if you're gonna, and I believe all that stuff, I do. But you got when you get
Hey,
like
look,
you
even
press, you
that
got
word, even that word you just said, woke. Here's the funny thing about that. Any word you use in today's society can be morphed to not mean what it means.
yeah,
I use the
yeah,
word aware. I would rather be aware than woke. You know why?
aware.
Because like I say, I make certain things for myself so that I don't fall in them traps, right? I you try to avoid beefs, you try to avoid drama, you try to avoid like I don't know how many tweets I got typed that I deleted, but they saved. Like I'm running out of space because before I send it, I'm thinking about like, man, I don't need to get in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I'm gonna let that go. Somebody said something pointed to me. They called me a shield or a sellout and this and that. And I know how hard I'm working to make sure that I'm 100% authentically me. I'm okay with people disagreeing with me because I'm at that point now to where I don't block people unless they cross that line. And my
Yeah,
line is very stern, but at the same time, if you're just challenging me or questioning me or even just saying something, negative or nasty to me, if you don't cross that line, then I'm probably going to respond, well, thank you. Because most people don't understand that for those who have gotten the big head or went Hollywood, so to say, their first instinct is to fight these people that have negative things to say about them. That shows me it's almost a lack of true conviction because if I feel how I feel, there's nothing you can say to me to change my mind. So why fight you? Like I'm not what you think about me has nothing to do with me. That's a book. You know what I'm saying? So I don't pay attention to it. So most time when I get trolled or somebody, calls me a name or something like that, I say, hey man, where you been? I just tweeted 3 times. Where were you? It kind of and we kind of build a camaraderie of just damn, I can't get this dude rattled. Like it is what it is. Like I don't do that in real life. Like I don't walk up to people and start cussing them out in real life at 46 years old. Now, if I was 25, I'm locked and loaded, ready for war. If I was 30, but you live and you learn that you're never going to change somebody's mind if that's what they believe. So put that focus and that drive and that energy into what it is that you believe and drive your own car because I can't reach through my window grab your steering wheel, drive your car and mine down the road. It doesn't work. That's why I stay in my lane. I don't, bro. I literally do my best not to get pulled in anybody's drama. It's hard, but
Dude, I my mind keeps popping to when we do get retail in front of Congress, you gotta be one of the people talking. You will be, and
I
like
I hope not.
it's oh man, no, we need you, man. I'm okay.
I hope not.
One of my hopes is to convince you to do that, because dude,
I
you
hope not. Like,
every time you get going, man, I'm just like, geez, this guy just does everything the right way.
no, I
He
don't.
just you get it, man. I mean,
Look,
we make mistakes, but like you hold yourself, you carry yourself correctly. You think about who you're representing, God, yourself, and your family, your people. Like, dude, you do everything the right way. There's a reason I'm like, every time I get to talk to you, I'm just like, oh fuck yeah, like I'm ready to
no,
run through a
bro.
wall through, man.
I fail way more than I succeed. And I mean that. But the thing about it is, bro, is that I've lived a lot of lives in this short time I've been on this planet, right? I've done a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things. I had a mom and a grandmother that made sure I was well rounded. I was in situations that I shouldn't have been in, that I was blessed to get out of. And the way that I look at it is like, you take, for instance, I'll give you this example. You are an associate at a retail store, right? You stock the bananas and another person stocks the oranges. Well, you get a promotion to where now you're over the entire vegetable fruit area. So now that person works under you. That person comes to you and say, "Hey man, I need to go run make a phone call." Do you tell them, "Hey, stock them damn apples first," or do you say, "Hey man, go make your phone call. I'll help you out till you get back"? Because I think people forgetting where they came from is truly a thing. And I appreciate people challenging me because it keeps me from getting the big head. Like, I have some of the things I've accomplished in this, I would have never dreamed that I've been able to do. Some of the people I've been able to talk to, and most people think it's just like, oh man, you get to talk to Dave Lauer. Oh, you're talking to this person. Oh, you're talking to that person. No, I would have never dreamed that I got a chance to talk to Jody in Buffalo, or talk to Stunk in California, or talk to Rafiki in England, or talk to Pete in Jersey, now Mexico, like, or Joel in Canada. I never thought I would talk to these people because I don't treat anybody, no matter your reputation, your profession, anything, any different. I treat everybody the same. You know why? Because it's how I want you to treat me. Like, I tell people, it's like you just said, "Hey man, I want you. We need you." No, you don't need me. Because here's the thing: as a society, we put people on pedestals. But just as quickly as we put them up there, the second they don't say what we want to say, we're the first one to cut the leg so the pedestal fall. So I'm like, don't put me up there because I'm as human as everybody else. So if I make a mistake, I don't need the mob coming after me. I need y'all right here because you're not in the front of me. You're not on top of me. You're not behind me. You're on the side of me. And it's always been that way. I've always said shoulder to shoulder. We ain't got to lock arms. We ain't got to agree. But if you standing on the side of me, that means when I take a step forward, so do you. When you take a step forward, so do I. We have to figure out a way to, I guess, alleviate the situation of being first. I'm right, you're not. What I have conviction in is better than yours. To, damn, we all getting screwed. Two, how the hell do we get there? Three, how do we all get united behind one situation, which I think at the core of it we are? It's our money. I said again, it's
Yeah,
our money. I'm gonna get
that's
in
it.
close. Money, 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 money is what everybody needs. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, or you're married to a man, or you're married to a woman, or you got 3 kids, or 2.5 kids, or a step kid, or just dogs or cats. It's your money.
That's the one thing that I think the 1% has been able to understand for forever that the 99% don't get, is that they're all united for one reason. It's their
They're rich.
money. Yeah, it's their money. That's what unites them. The second we are figuring this out. We have figured this out.
Yeah.
Uh, some people for decades, a mass of us now in the last 3 years, you unite behind that. All of a sudden, that 99% is very, very scary. And all these things that we said were going to happen, that we've been called crazy for 3 years, your Credit Suisse just went down.
Dude, I
Credit
know.
fucking Swiss. Nobody saw that coming. But back when I was getting involved in this, it was like, yeah, what? One of the things that could happen here is that the whole banking system is going to go down, and all these banks are going to fail because they're not going to be able to pay all these crazy cost to borrow fees. And guess who was one of the biggest borrowers against the AMC? Credit Suisse.
But
Like,
that's the fun part. That's history,
it's
though. That's
it's
history
history.
because
It's
I'm,
history.
I make you laugh. I make you laugh. That's the thing that people who've been in this for 6 months to a year don't understand. We had DD guys calling the CBDC out. We had DD
Yes,
going
sir.
on about BlackRock and Vanguard and Citadel trying to get into the crypto blockchain stuff. We had all that. This is the focus part of it, right? We've had so many events back to back to back to back to back. One always overtakes the other one. And I'll give you a hint into my mind thought process. I made a list of all the things that we started talking about from then to now. And I said, when I get in front of these people, I'm starting at number one. So, like when we did the Gensler interview, everybody was pissed with me because I didn't bring up Fade to the Livers, I didn't bring up Stokens or this and that. I made a promise to myself that I was going to stick to that list
You
because
can tell the story. You can tell the
one,
story.
exactly, one at a time. So the first time we talked, I asked him, I said, hey, I'm Jay Brown, such and such. And he said to me, you can call me Gary. Okay, put that in a lot, keep it there for a second. Out of all these proposals, which ones are important to you? So he went on to talk, and I'm like, all right, cool. Note to self, got you. So when the next one came about, they came to me and I said, hey, how you doing, Chair Gensler? I said, oh, I can call you Gary. Automatic level playing field. You're no longer the chair. You're no longer the top dog at SEC. Your name is Gary now. You said I could call you Gary. I'm gonna call you Gary. All right. Let's talk about payment for order flow. And anybody's been in this since 2021. That's one of the biggest deals we found out early on. Payment for order flow, how it works, how money moves. So I brought it up and I said, I made a point to say, hey, you know who created payment for order flow, right? You do know that, right? And he kind of was like, damn, okay. And I wanted to move to failure to delivers. I wanted to move to internalizer, but I wanted to say a certain few things. Like some of these market makers are not market makers; they're high speed speculators. They do high algorithm trading, and they match because they can fill out the paperwork right. Like me and you, if we had $100 million, we could start a hedge fund, and all we need is two computers and an algo. That's not a hedge fund. You know what I'm saying? That's not a market maker. That's not a person that's supposed to bring liquidity into the market. That's not what they're doing. They're siphoning out of it. So basically, we just need to call them high speed traders. We need to say, hey, look, you and your internalizers, we don't need it. That's why we got a broker. Send my orders to the exchange. Did you know that you go to so many different exchanges, and then when none of them decide to buy it, it finally goes to the last one that's called the exhaust exchange before it even hits the New York Stock Exchange? Like you can't make none of this up. But I didn't know that either, and that's what I'm saying. Those are the cycles. So one of my good friends, she gets a cease and desist letter from Citadel. Dude, we talked about it for 1 week before the next new news came about, and we just let it fall down. And then it happened again, and then the 8K filing dropped, and then the vote happened. Every time something new happens, everything before it becomes a byproduct. It is not important, but to some of these people, it still is. And like I said, bro, everybody's focus is where it is, and I appreciate it because that helps me. You're one person, I'm one person, but we're millions strong. Like we love to say it's 4 million. We love to say it's 4 million, but it's
Yeah,
really
we
more
do.
than four.
Yeah, we do love to say 4 million. It was way more than 4 million. It's
Yeah,
it's it's 4 million AMC investors that we know of, which was a while ago when that number was said too. But
but how
it's
many
it's
GME?
how many do
How
you
many
mean? How many in
NFT?
crypto? How many? Yeah, exactly. Like it's
How many
probably
pension
it's
fund holders? 401k people that don't know what we know. What I'm saying is, bro, literally everybody that sits in a seat in the House or in the Senate is voted in by constituents and districts and contributors to 401k pension plans, cell phone entrepreneurial businesses. This affects all of them. But here's the thing: if they're going about their life and they don't know, because they're taking the bait to fight about laptops, red and blue, and all that other crap, bro. What I'm trying to tell you is that's the game. If I muddy the waters enough, you can't see the bottom or the top, so you don't know if you swimming and you going to that down or you going up because everything is mud. It's like you taking a dive in the Mississippi River trying to swim with your eyes open. You're not gonna see too far. That's it. So we just gotta have fun with it. We gotta, everybody gets there when they get there, man. And like I said, I don't have issues with anybody for what they feel or how they feel. If your conviction is strictly for the squeeze, I appreciate you. If your conviction is for the squeeze and the viability of the company staying open, I appreciate you. If your conviction is for the viability of the company to squeeze and other communities, I appreciate you. If your conviction is for the viability of the company to squeeze and other communities plus advocacy, I appreciate you. I can go down the list of all those things. If your conviction is you just day trading and you're a retail investor, I don't want you to day trade my stock. But what can I do to stop you? So why am I going to take my focus off of you and not pay attention to this? It doesn't make sense. So that's why I don't get in the day to day, bro. Like I really, really don't, bro. Like I go in, I have a few fun. If I feel passionate about something, I do. I look at it like this: anything that you do that you don't love is called work. Anything that you love that you do is called passion. I love doing this. I love connecting with people. I have a lot of passion for it. Sometimes does it feel like work? Yes. Sometimes it does feel like work, but it's more passion than work for me. And like I said, bro, I just appreciate people like you that are saying, "Hey, you know what? I got this idea. I want to do it. Go for it."
Dude, that's one of those like that's one of the parts of man, I would run through a wall for you. But God, you got me so hyped. You got me so hyped up right now. But that's one of the parts when you were saying if I take a step forward, y'all take a step forward. If you take a step back, I take a step. If would we move together and there's millions and millions and millions of us. What I do love about this community, this retail community, and this incredible part of it is that you got a talent, you got something you can do it. If you want to, do it because you got something to offer. One of my buddies, I was in South by Southwest out in Austin this week. Incredible artist. It's a little bit of a side tangent, but it'll get back to the point, I swear. Yeah, so one of my buddies, uh, incredible artist. He's been producing music. He taught me how to rap actually. I listened to rap with him in college, but he's been producing, making beats when he was like 12. That's evolved as we've gotten older. It's kind
Right.
of funny how it has where it used to be rap and now it's like almost country, I'd call it. It's like almost country. It's Charlie Crockett type music, Tyler Childers, if you know them, but it's incredible. It's fucking
Right.
incredible. And we're at South by, which is a bunch of concerts, and we do what my friend group does, and we get backstage and stuff, and just through sneaking in and just like talking to people, meeting people, and we meet one of these artists. I meet one of these artists, and I'm like, yo, I got introduced to my friend. He's amazing. You gotta talk to him. I go up to my buddy and hey man, just met yada yada. She's just the one that just performed and come on, I got introduced you to her and like you gotta show what you gotta offer. And he goes, like, I got nothing, man. I got nothing to offer. He hasn't put music out yet or anything. I'm like, dude, that's not true. Like you got something to offer. Like you have the knowledge of what you have. You can
Right.
go spit music. You go talk music. Every time I go see that guy, well, and he's working on music 9 hours a day. Like this, he'll wake up before work on music for 2 hours, go to work, come back home, and he just does music till he goes. And it's incredible to be around. It's awesome. There's so much knowledge you learn about what he does in that music world, and it's just that statement just stuck in my mind and drove me crazy. I'm like, dude, you got something to offer. Everyone's got something to offer, but especially you, man. And like, but what I've seen in this community to wrap that back is that everybody's got something to offer, and you're seeing it happen. The fact that there's millions of us, and there's people doing DD in so many different ways, and then there's the YouTube people, there's people hosting Twitter Spaces, I'm making a podcast, like there's 1,000 people, there's millions and millions of people doing like thousands and thousands of different things, and it all works together. Like that 99%, when we just align and we all work together, it's fucking incredible. You're seeing what happens. Like you're seeing what happens right now, the last 3 years, and like it's without the DD people and the Reddit and all that stuff, we aren't where we are, you know. And without people like you and then the YouTubers, like we aren't where we are. And everyone's pitched in their talents, what they have to offer. It's just, it's so damn cool, and it's amazing what we can accomplish. Like you said, it's history and it's being written. And I'm really glad that actually you're going the way you're going about it, on the whole story, the whole thing,
Yeah,
and
man.
it's super cool, man.
Well,
It's super cool.
consistency is something that I learned early on in my life from my grandmother and my brothers and my sister and my mom, is that you have to be consistent. You have to figure it out. I had to learn that relationship is that if I'm always changing, if I'm as passionate about everything and I change it, like how can you really gauge what I'm serious about? You know what I'm saying? So I began that journey of trying to be selective about the things that I really cared about versus the things that were not, I was lukewarm or I just didn't care about. So, because I truly believe consistency matters. Like, you can't say you're for people, but then you're selective about the people you're for. Like, that, those two don't match. And you see that, but then you have to realize, am I one of those people that call people out? Am I, is that who I am? And if that's not you, don't do it, because if it's not you, one, it's not authentic. Two, it's not your personality. And three, why insert yourself in something that's not you? But on the backside, if it's somebody else, do your thing, though. Like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna tell you not to call this one out. I'm not gonna tell you what to say or how to say, because people say, even when we had this whole thing about, early on with the followers and all that kind of stuff, I would have never dreamed that I have the followers I have. But I'm most proud of the fact that I never asked for one. I never said, hey, follow me, I know the way. I just was my true self. And if I lose every follower I have tomorrow, I still get to wake up and be me. It matters. And even, the people who say, well, you're a big voice and you got all the followers, this and that. What they don't understand is that the work that went in to do that, the being in spaces every day, whether you were sick or you were tired, the phone calls with people who were having good days and bad days or wanted to have a one-on-one explanation, the advocacy, writing letters and doing that kind of stuff. Like, it takes work. Some people put in the work for it. Some people buy followers. Some people trick people into following them, presenting that they're somebody that they're not. But my thing is, I'm most proud of the fact that I did it in a way to where I was just me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't promise the mountain, more or less, hey, we both got a molehill. Let's see what we can do with it. Like, it just wasn't, it wasn't one of them situations, bro. And I see, that'll come where people will be like, well, you know, you just you changed on us, you Hollywood. No, I'm not. I'm the same person. People love to dig through your Twitter and all that kind of stuff. Please tell me why I told you to buy anything or how to vote or how to do this or how to do that. Because why would I leave a system where people told me what to invest in, how to invest in, how it was going to do, and all this other kind of stuff, only to come to a place and either take their place or let somebody else put me back in that bubble? Be your own leader, be your own influence. Listen to what people say, take the breadcrumbs and do the work for yourself. Like, we have, I joined the We the Investor. Um, I'm helping Dave and them with the terminal for the education side. People will get mad with me for that because they don't like Dave Lau. Cool, that's fine. What I eat don't come out your body, so you ain't got to do what I do. No, you got to like it. And I normally say something different, but people say, I'm starting to get it from home where I cuss too much, so I'm trying to bring that down a little bit.
I should
But
bring that down too.
yeah, so basically, my thing is, each relationship that I have in this thing is separate. Like, I don't not like somebody because you don't like them. That's not what I do. If
Mm.
they do something that I feel is so terrible, then I'll challenge them about it. But I'm not gonna do it in the public. I'm not gonna do it through a tweet. I'm not gonna have these public spats. And I'm not gonna call somebody or message somebody and challenge what they believe because then I damn sure don't want to do it to me. Because they do it to me, I'm gonna flash out. Like I already know. Like, who are you to tell me I'm 46 years old? I pay my own bills. Don't ask me no questions. I ain't gotta prove nothing to you. But I realized, bro, that anonymity, the internet, social media allows people to be superheroes. It allows them to say what they wouldn't say on their job. It allows them to say what they wouldn't say to their wife or to their daughter or anything like that. But I speak to the higher humanity of it to say, hey man, look, just because you can hide in plain sight doesn't mean you have to be that way. And I leave it alone. And they might say, man, F off, go to hell. I don't understand what you're saying. Everybody don't look at it like that. And then you'll have somebody that comes on and read a couple of books and psychoanalyze you, bro. It's amazing, bro. You're gonna find psychiatrists on Twitter. you can find you can find mathematical geniuses. You can find anything you want on Twitter and social media. But here's the thing. I still believe 1 + 1 = 2. I still believe up is up and down is down. And I still believe in if I have conviction from something, I'm not about to make you have my conviction because it's mine. So therefore, I don't have to prove anything to you. I don't have. I've gotten out. That's one of the cycles. I've gotten out of proving to people I am who I say I am to the point that where I've been around for 2 years. What you see is what you get. If you don't believe it, and then there's nothing I'm gonna tell you to make you change your mind. So it's like, hey man, good going. And no offense to you, but I don't like podcasts, right? Because I'm not a
That's okay.
podcaster.
That's
I'll be
okay.
honest with you. Like, I'm not a podcaster. What I realize is I'm a conversationalist. Like the spaces that I run, some of the spaces that I co-host with Joe, or the educational spaces, or if I get some of these big name people to come in, or even just retail big name people to come in and talk, man, we have a conversation. Like, you'll ask me a question and then I hear something in that question and I dig deeper into that question and then I keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and I involve everybody. Now, some things you can involve everybody with because remember, that's one of the evolutions of it, right? You'll have spaces and it's a hot topic and you'll have people come up and derail the conversation because it's not what they want to talk about. So I
Hmm.
started having panels. Like I was the first one to just start doing it. Like, look, I'm gonna pick 5 people, and these 5 people are gonna be speakers. And then toward the end, we're gonna open it up for everybody to ask questions so that we can have a little focus. And some people got mad with me, they called it gatekeeping. Some people got upset with me because they weren't on the panel, this and that. But I go off consistency, right? Like if you are on one hand, you're involved in some beef over here, and you also involved in the education. Like I try to stay away from all of that. I just want I want us to be clean with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
I want us to all have a consistency rate of 99.9. And I know that's not possible because we got shields that exist amongst us. We have people with negative sentiment amongst us. But if you know, you know. If you've been around long enough, you know, because that's the fun part. It was funny to me, in recent months to where you'll see people who've been here since Spaces first came about, like when everybody flooded from Reddit or flooded from the Weeble comment section or Discord or whatever it is, Twitter, and you'll see them, talk for pretty much all of 2021, and then they disappear for 2022, then they come back in 2023, and then somebody who's been talking for 6 months saying, "Who the hell is this guy?" You know what I'm saying? Like, and then everybody comes in like, "Oh man, that's Ape Papa Logo." He's been around for a while. Like you have to almost explain yourself. So I think that's been fun, but I also think, man, that you know I am not afraid to explore my creative side. And I'm not afraid to promote others to explore their creative side. Like I've been working on that particular thing you just saw for well over a year and a half because I'm so meticulous. I didn't want people to think it was just me talking to an expert. because in my mind, an expert can be multiple people. It can
Mhm.
be people within retail. It can be people outside of retail. It can be marketing people because I want to know how all this works. I want to know, I want to talk to a marketing professor so I can see how these financial instruments are marketed to retail. I want to talk to somebody that's done DD on Cayman Island accounts or whatever, and they have a proven track record. My idea of an expert is somebody with a proven track record and a line of focus that is so beyond reproach to the point to where somebody could disagree with them, but they can't disagree with them. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't want people to think it's like, oh, he just want to talk to the Wall Street people. No, I want to talk to whoever has information and breadcrumbs to give to retail people like me that want to learn and grow because I know what I had to go through to learn it. So that's it. Like the stuff that I'm doing with Irvin with the education stuff. People think that this thing is something, but they don't even know what it is yet. You know what I'm saying? They just know that, hey man, he used to work for Citadel. It's bad. It just want a grift. No, I ain't stupid like that. Like I'm not finna get behind nothing that I know is gonna blow up in my face, right? So, like somebody was like, "Well," I thought about it. I was like, "So when Wells came out with his, I was behind it." Like I had somebody ask me why I retweeted Unusual Wells. I've been in this thing long enough to where he was one of my first follows when I had like 800 followers and he had 4,000. But somebody asked me why I support a friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? Like you get questions like that now. Well, why do you support this person? Because I've known them for a year. Like, and they'll go back and screenshot a tweet from 6 months ago and be like, but they said this. Yeah, I mean, but I didn't agree with it. Did I like it? Like, I don't understand what it is. Like, you just, bro, it's a strange batch, but you got to go with it. You can't quit. You can't be discouraged, but you can encourage, right? It's just
Man,
it.
I told you something my
It's
older
kind of
brother
I
told
got.
me.
I remember you were talking, and it stuck with me. Um, he came to me and he said, "Man, you're the weakest link in this chain,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "The hell?" I was hurt. Really, I was like,
Yeah, yeah, no.
"What kind of why would you say that?" And he said, "Nah, nah, you gotta let me finish." He said, "You're the weakest link in this chain because you're the youngest." He said, "But I have to tell you, if you are the weakest link, our chain is strong as hell." He said, "Because you are blessed with all of our gifts plus your own." And I stood back for a second. I was like, "Yeah, you cleaned that up nicely because it was about to get cussed out." But at the same time, I thought about it is that we have a lot of strong links in this thing. We have a lot of weak links. But the thing about it is, the weak links don't know that they're only weak links because they just started the journey. It's not because they are incapable of doing it. It's not because they don't have the capacity of learning or offering anything. It's just time and history is not on their side yet. That's it. It's nothing major because let's just be honest with you. Most of us are a little bit conspiracy and a little bit, just a tad bit
Absolutely.
untrusting. Like, who the hell is this
Absolutely.
guy?
Absolutely. No, I mean that's how we got here is that first off, conspiracies are just conspiracy. It's just a conspiracy theory until it's proven true. Uh, we got called conspiracy theorists for a long, long time, and we just ask questions. Hey, man, this PFO, this payment for order flow thing seems a little sketchy. And then, hey, why is this cost to borrow so high? Hey, what's a
Right.
failure to deliver? We just kept asking questions,
That's
and
it.
if they're gonna call you conspiracy theorists for it, man, prove it wrong. Show me the earth. Show me the earth is round. Show me the earth is round. I'll stop calling it flat. Right? Like once you see the proof, I'd stop. I'd be okay. I'd go with you. But going back to that story, that's when you told me that story the first time, it just stuck with me so hard because I'm also the youngest of four, all boys, and um, it just my brother didn't give me the exact same speech, but just through their actions, um, they've given me that speech, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's crazy how like I very much do feel like the weakest link and like I see that they're all incredible in their own ways. Like I could rant about each of them for hours, but just I think one of my brothers has told me like, yeah, you're the one that has all these gifts, and like well, there's a little bit of all of us in you, and they've always believed in me, like way before I believed in myself. Yeah, that story just hit me and stuck me so hard. I feel the exact same way, and I've seen that love and support from my family, and yeah, man, I just like
Yeah,
that's one thing I'm never gonna forget for real. Like actually, like one of those stories, like holy shit, I'm literally gonna remember this to the day I die.
yeah.
Uh, it just yeah, it really hit and stuck, man.
Yeah, that's the,
Man,
that's
same
the
dude,
thing,
yeah,
right? That's that thing that we don't really get to turn on with each other. If it's a connection thing, right? Like I truly feel every space that I run, right? Every space I co-host, every conversation I have, like I'm having with you, I have to feel it. Like we had a little warm up before we did this. We went back and forth.
mm,
We talked, and he was like, "Hey Jay, I might ask you a pointed question here and there." I'm like, "Man, you know what? We got a connection now. So even if you ask me something pointed and I'm not happy about it, we're still going to talk afterwards because the connection is built." And that's I try all I try to get people to see is that it's not for you to agree with everything a person says, but if you find out first what you can agree on, lay that foundation when it's time to have a tough conversation, when it's time to really, really talk, after it's over, the foundation is still there. So you still have a way back to talking. And I believe
absolutely,
that. I step on your shoes. You don't know me. Man, what the hell?
yeah,
I step on your shoes, you know me, and I turn around and say, "My bad." You already know I'm not malicious. You know I didn't do it on purpose. She'd be like, "Oh man, it's all right, man. Don't worry about it." Then I go the extra mile and say, "Bro, let me wipe that for you. You know what? I've ruined these. Let me buy you another pair." Like that's how simple it is for people to figure out how to get along with each other, bro. Because if you look at everything in society that has you to argue, most of the people arguing have never taken 1 second to get to know each other on things that they can agree on. Not one person. You got one group over here that got to pick a sign and say yes. You got another group over here that got to pick a sign and say no. And here it is. You got three people standing in the middle. I don't know, maybe. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'd rather be with the I don't know maybes than the yes and the hard no's because here's the thing. The I don't know maybes are the ones that are trying to have the connection conversations to see what we agree on. Those are the
absolutely,
ones that are doing it. So bro, I try to look at things simplistically, bro, and I don't try to pretend to be a knower of all things. I just try to show that I've lived on this earth for 46 years and I've learned from my good experience and the bad experiences. And that's all I share on Twitter. That's what I share when I talk to the people because to pontificate that you know everything, I think is the biggest trap and the biggest fallacy because you're trying to prove your worth to somebody else when you're already priceless. You know what I'm saying? Like you're already priceless. Like there's not another one of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are who you
for
are.
sure, man. Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like, nah, man. Look, my grandmother told me I was a gift because God don't make no junk, and I'm gonna believe that. You know? So we good, man.
Hell yeah, man. You sure you don't like podcasts? Because man, you kind of built for podcasts.
Nah, man. I tell you, bro, I'm built for conversations, bro. Like I
You built for
said,
conversations. You built for
I think,
conversations.
I think, like I said, man, I try to always reimagine something that's already there because everybody has a podcast now. Like, it's like,
Hmm.
damn, I want to do basket weaving. Let me start a podcast on basket weaving. Like,
Yeah.
I believe if you put everything into a niche, however you say
How you
it,
say it? Yeah.
and, what happens is that it floods the market in that area. Like what you're doing, not everybody's doing in the retail community, right? And you're doing what I did. You putting in the work. You're building the bridges. I see you bouncing around Twitter. I see you in
I appreciate
spaces. Like I've done it already, so I can see it. You know what I'm saying? Like
it. Yeah.
I can see that how you move. Like we did a space one time for the first We the Investor comment letter, the first letter we sent to the SEC.
Yeah.
And it was like at 50,000, I'm like, man, we got more than that in here, man. Let's do it. So I did a retail day 100K. We got it up to like 80,000 or something like that, right? But I ran an 11-hour space with Pete and Sarah and a few other people that helped me run that space from 9 in the morning. No, from I think from 11 in the afternoon to 9 at night, right?
Damn. Yeah.
We had over 117,000 people touch that call. We had almost 250 people. And in that call, I had folks pissed with me because they had to wait too long. I had people pissed with me because some of the big YouTubers were in there, but we were working in conjunction. So I wanted to leverage all of their followers to watch the YouTube and everything because my main focus was to get as many signatures as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And what was great about it is that to this day, I will not say, oh, the space was huge. We had more than, I don't care about any of that. I just wanted the SEC to realize people are paying attention, right? And
Absolutely.
what I found fascinating is that for a month leading up to that, I went to at least 60 space calls a day to introduce myself, to talk to people that are in crypto, NFTs. It didn't matter. I said, look, I want you here. Make sure you come. Do you mind if I take 2 seconds to talk to you about what I'm putting together, what I'm doing, so on and so forth, what we're doing over here, what these guys are talking about? And through that, I see you doing the same thing because you're not focused on. It doesn't say the good of the community. It doesn't say the good of the communities. It says the good of Twitter, which means everything on Twitter is on your plate. It's
Yeah.
time to eat. Look, my family said, it's time to eat. Don't just sit at the table, get served. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy to participate in this with you, man, and share with you what I've learned, the good mistakes, the bad mistakes, the pitfalls, because if I've gone through something and I'm telling you about it, I'm not telling you because I want you to do what I did. I'm telling you about it so you're aware of what could happen.
No,
That's
I
it.
appreciate it, man. No, I'm absorbing. I'm absorbing more than you know, for real. And it's not just you. It's a lot of people I learn from. But man, you a big role model for me. And I know it's not just me. I know that there's a lot of people like me that listen to you. It's like, dude, it's easy to tell when you know. You know, my brain, my gut, my heart, everything's like it's everything, man. It's like, yeah, this guy's doing things the right way.
And I
I
hate
want
it.
to do what he's doing. I want to be able to walk a similar path as you, my own way, the way that Troy wants to do it,
Yeah.
which is more of a. I would love to. My dream be like would be to be my own version of, I guess, like a Joe Rogan in a sense. Honestly, is be able to talk to people and just absorb what they can teach me, and but I want to do it in my own path, in my own way. And every time I get to talk to you, I get some of your time. It's just like it's amazing. I learned so much, and one of the lessons that I'm taking in right now through that whole last part there was like, dude, everyone tells you you gotta work hard. Everyone knows that. So you want to do something, you gotta work hard. You gotta be consistent. Those are the words. But hearing your stories is like cement them so much. Like you dropped in 60 space calls in a day. You hosted an 11-hour space call. You were just going, going, going. It's a different type of work. Like you think you work hard. Like I wrestled, and when I was a freshman and I was going with varsity, I'd show up in the morning after school. It's another 3 hours, like 5 hours right there. I'm thinking I'm working hard. And then my buddy, who's going to end up winning state and get runner up in state, they're going for another hour afterwards. And then in the summertime, they're going 10 hours a day. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I thought I was working hard. No, I'm not. Like, and it's one of those things now where I'm just like, I always know I can do more in my head. I'm always like I always feel like I'm behind. I always like, okay, what am I not? No, I can do more. And um, but man, then I also like it's like what is it can I do? I'm hearing it from you like, damn, dude, just do
Hey,
more. Just keep going.
nah,
Like
man.
just keep
Nah.
going and
But that's the thing, though. You have to. One thing I would tell you about that is that didn't happen in a vacuum. I didn't do that by myself. Like I'll never
mhm,
take full credit for anything. Like um when I did the Jon Stewart show,
mhm,
Had it not been for the community, had it not been for all these people I've been around, I wouldn't have been prepared. So it was my focus and my goal to get up on that particular stage and not speak in my voice, so to speak. Like, somebody told me, they said, I was talking to this lady and she was like, "Have you had any coaching or anything like that?" I was like, "No, I did, debate and speech writing and reading in college or whatever." And she was like, "No," she said, "Some people when they talk from a first person standpoint." She said, "I was listening to you talk and you were talking and I could have closed my eyes and you could have been anybody." And I told her, I said, "The reason that is because I've talked to single mothers, housewives, working mothers, working fathers, single fathers, gay, straight, lesbian, um, hard left, hard right, burn it all down, anarchists. I've talked to all these people for all this time, and I needed to say something in a way that had their passion one, had the knowledge and information that we had gained two, and then three, which is most important, not make us look stupid." So I kind of like I'm sitting there in the thing, bro, and I promise you, I'm looking for my lady in the audience, and the lights are so bright I can't see. So that's why you'll see me looking like this every now and then. And bro, I'm telling you, bro, for something like that to happen, you would think that's the highlight of your life. But it's literally not the highlight of my life yet, because the mission is not accomplished. We've not gotten them to ban payment for order flow. We've not gotten them to change the rules to where FINRA actually holds these market makers accountable. We've not gotten to the point to where FTDs are not 16, 18, 22 days. We're not allowed to naked short a company 140% or 120% past what's actually out in the market. We haven't gotten there yet. So I celebrate the small victories, but I'm going to just, I can't even call it a celebration, man. I'm going to just sit back and be like, when we get to that point, and there are small victories along the way. The fact of the matter is, we're still here after 2 years. You know what I'm saying?
We're still here. The war is still going. That was one of those. I want to say 1,000 other things, but man, it's just like that was one of those things that people that got into this. There are some people around me, friends and
Mhm.
family. They got into this. They got into AFC because I was just so damn hyped about what was happening. I was like, y'all don't get what's going on. This is insane. This has never happened before. Like everything that you know. If you listen to me, man, you gotta know about it now. So everything that y'all listening know, and uh, some of them got frustrated because they just kind of hopped in because I was hyped, and they got frustrated. They hopped in at a high point, and they're kind of like, dude, what the fuck's going on? And um, I kind of just hit him with a Kobe quote of like, man, job's not finished. Like it's been a war. Like we're fighting a war here. That's what's happening. And guess what? We're not dead. They thought we'd be dead, and they thought they were saying the same shit about Ukraine. Hey, Russia's gonna have that thing in an hour. They're gonna be in Kiev in an hour. Guess what, man? War's still happening.
Yeah.
No one saw this coming. Other side did not see this coming, man. And it's just like, like we're fighting. We're here. Like we're still here. It's war, and like, and that it's just you gotta have honestly a Kobe type mentality of just like I'm gonna show up every day. I'm gonna hit you in the chest, and I'm just gonna keep going. And like the way that you said, "Hey, the Jon Stewart thing was cool, but it ain't the highlight." That was like, "Hey, job's not finished. You're up 2-0. You're not
Yeah.
happy. You're half happy." It's like,
Nah,
job's not
man.
finished, man.
I'm
Celebrate
telling
the
you,
little things, but let's go. Like,
it's the cycles, bro. Like when I got in this, I Anna Marin followed me. I was like, damn, it was big for me, right? Then Charles Payne, like all these people started following you. You like, what the hell did I say? And it's human nature to be like, well, I gotta keep saying it. And then I promise you, bro, like I say, it's people in this thing, bro, that make sure you don't get the big head, right? So I tell you a quick story, and it's funny as hell. Like I said something, and Charles Payne followed me, and then I tweeted him like, "Hey man, Charles Payne followed me." And I never did this again. It was like, so what? You supposed to be Hollywood now? And I promise you, from that moment on, I never publicly celebrated or privately celebrated anybody following me that is supposed to be of note of influence. I tend to celebrate more when people such as myself follow me because, like I say, bro, everybody has a purpose. And I believe sometimes their frustration, their anger, are just basically being a troll just to give you crap. That should keep you humble, right? It just does. Like if you're that kind of person where you already don't really want the spotlight, you're looking for any reason to run from it. And anybody will tell you that's known me from the start. I used to not let people give me compliments. They'll be like, "Oh, Jay, man, you so wonderful, this and that." Hey, man, don't give me no compliments for being me. Yeah, I said it. I said that for a full year. And the crazy part about it is that if you've ever read the five love languages, my love language is acts of service and words of affirmation. So not only am I gonna bust my ass for you, I want you to say something to me about it, right? So I went against who I was because I know what it's like when you have large groups of people together. You got to pick good guys, you got to pick bad guys, you got to do all the other kind of stuff. So I purposely kept that away. But then after the Jon Stewart thing, Buddy Rocket, he had a space. He was like, "Nah, fucker, you gonna get in here, you gonna get some of this love." And I was like, "Damn, I'm opening the door. I don't want to open the door, but I'm gonna go ahead and open it." And since then, bro, I regret not doing it sooner. Like you don't know because you're a little terrified because all this is new territory. I'm in my 40s. You know, I'm over the 45 limit. So I'm closer to 50 than I am 40 years old. And a lot of this stuff is new to me. Some of these cats be typing low, RFOL or whatever that is. I'm like, what? I'm asking, like, what the hell does that mean? It's like rolling on the floor laughing. I'm like, oh, like I still stuff I don't know. I still don't know what LARP means. Like I see some people, back and forth, like you're just a LARP. I'm like, what the hell is that? Like
Oh, I
we
could
need,
teach you that one. That's
yeah,
a
but
live action role playing. So that comes from, you ever seen a movie called Role Models?
yeah.
They're LARPing when they're like the knights in armor or whatever. So
Oh,
they're
okay,
role
yeah.
playing or something. So it's like I'm guessing they'd be like, oh, you're just role playing as a, I don't actually have no idea, like an
I
ape
guess
or
that,
I don't know, like
hey,
whatever
bro,
it
look,
is.
I've seen it in the back and forth between the tickers. Um, like I said, man, I think some people who desire to be heard over others run the risk of seeming as though they are a leader. And I'll leave you with this one is that I joined a community that knew no leaders. I joined a movement that knew no leaders. And to date, we don't have any in my mind because I think that's our biggest weapon. If you put a target on one person's back, the enemy can just eliminate that one person, everybody fall
Yeah,
down. The
yeah,
way that I've always looked at it is that if each individual stands up at its purest form of this movement, this community, these tickers, these cryptos, these NFTs, everything that we're doing, we're at the forefront now, right? Because the dollar, the paper dollar, we're playing behind the eight ball on that one. But with blockchain, non-fungible tokens, and all these other things that artists are doing, like I got a friend of mine, she's an artist, and she took her music, her record, and made it NFTs to where she didn't have to give it to the recording studio. She didn't do any of that. She just the value of it goes with crypto and everything else. Like it was just genius to do that. But if we don't take control of these particular markets, those with money will.
yeah,
And we see that with the CBDC. We see that with the foundation that they're laying to take it over from these people that want it to be decentralized to where they can now make it centralized and mainstream. So I think all of us have gotten it right. Because we're early doesn't mean we're wrong. All the things we said would happen happen. Some people used to say this when we first started, and they'll message me and be like, Jay, man, how do you get these big people to come to you? How do you get people to listen to you? I said, I say the same thing. I might say something different, but it's technically the same thing. I don't change. Because a person or people are not listening to you because you have a small account, put the work in, build it. Don't change. Don't go with what the group is saying. Keep saying what you have to say. Because if you say what you have to say, and regardless if anybody ever listens, you get to live in a world where you said what you wanted to say. And not a lot of people can claim that victory. Not a lot of people can say, oh, man, I'm gonna stop saying this because nobody wants to hear it. And I'm telling you, bro, you can ask a lot of people because I've met and talked to a lot of people, a lot of big name people, a lot of not big name people in this thing, bro, that they would ask me and I would tell them, like, bro, just don't change yourself. The Cayman Island stuff. I knew the cats who talked about that for 6 months straight, and then some YouTubers swooped in and stole it for himself. That's about the only time I called somebody out because I'm watching these kids put in work, and I call them kids, but these young men put in work every day to bring about information, and you just come in and take it. Nah, that's not okay. Now y'all can fight about this and that, but I'm not gonna stand back while you steal somebody's hard work. That's not okay. You pick and choose your battles, but here's the one thing about a battle: be consistent, you'll win. Be a sponge, you'll win. Follow the breadcrumbs, you'll win. And lastly, put in the work, bro. Nothing comes to you sitting on your butt waiting on somebody to tell you what to do. I, I I'm telling you, I learned it the hard way. I went through DWAC. I went through halt downs to where stock ran to almost $200 and it started halting down. I'm jumping up Jansen's for joy until the numbers started dropping. Like, how do I get out? I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went through that. But you had people saying, don't get in that, don't buy anything else, don't get in derivatives, don't do this. Just I listened to that for months until I woke up and realized, why in the hell am I listening to these people when it's my money? Nah, I'm finna learn this. Not only am I gonna learn it, how can you change anything when you don't know how it works? Always ask yourself that. You're not gonna change the battery if you don't know what it plugs to in your car. You need to know the terminal's got to get plugged into it. You need to know your starter needs to get electricity. Your alternator needs to return that electricity that your starter used to crank the car. You need to know certain things. So, all that being said, bro, I see the work you putting in. I admire you for it. Sometimes the road will get hard, bro. But if you have conviction and a place and an end in mind goal of where you want to end up, it doesn't matter if you achieve the heights of 1 million subscribers or 1 million followers, or you keep the ones you got. As long as you did it from here and you chose passion over work, hey man, you're winning my book, boss. I'm telling you, you're winning my book.
That's dope. That's dope. I appreciate you. And this is coming from a place of passion. That's I mean, I'm at my brother's house right now. My oldest brother in Omaha. When I came here, that was like he was like I mean, for a long, long time. But when I came here, he was like, even trying to get me to what's the dream, what's the passion, what is the goal that you're gonna chase, and he just always kept coming back to podcasts, and he'd tell you time and time again. I actually got an episode with him. It's called The Vision, and it's in parentheses the Golden Broberg series. So any of my Golden Brobergs, just like my brothers or people that I love, if they're ever on, we talk about it in that episode. But he just he's like, man, you keep going back to podcast. Everything you want to do, like everything you're into, whether it's AMC and day trading, or whether it's politics, or whether it's Israel and Palestine, or whatever, anything you want to, you keep going back to podcasting, man. Like, just like he's the one really is like, hey man, go for it. Like, just fucking do this. And man, it's been a place of passion ever since that day. Like, ever since day one, it's been a place of passion, and I really do I have the arrogance, I suppose, to think that I've been blessed with my family's abilities and talents and the right role models in life where and I've been blessed to come across people like you when I'm saying right role models in life. I don't just mean the people I was born with, which thank God I got them, but I it does seem to be like, man, the more work you put in, the more like you follow this passion, you follow what's in there right there. And like God, whether you believe in God or not, like whatever it is, the universe is it puts the right people on your path. And like coming across you, man, it's just more proof to that. And I got the arrogance to think, man, this is gonna be one of those things that it's gonna be hopefully like a Joe Rogan one day, truly. And when I am, and when I got my own space and my own patio, my own pad recording studio, I'll fly in. We'll do an episode in
Hey
person. I'm
man,
excited
look,
about it.
I'm gonna tell you like this here, bro. There's only one Joe Rogan, right?
For sure.
There's also only one you.
For sure.
So
For sure.
I definitely admire the hey man, one day, I want to be like you. But the one thing I would tell you is model it after one day I'll be on the level you at. I don't want to
Yeah.
be nothing like you. You know why?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's
No, you're right.
only one you that can do what you do. And the funny part about it is I think that's one of the pitfalls is that people create personas or they think they have certain influences they don't. Like I got a lot of followers on Twitter, but I could pop open a space and I only got 30 people in there. I don't have 20,000 people in a Twitter space because most times I'm not talking about something everybody want to talk about. I'm talking about connection
Hmm.
or I'm doing education or something like that. But my thing is, if you put value on that kind of stuff, then how authentic are you? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you put value on the content, you put value on the words, you put value on your passion. And if you stay consistent with it, man, whether you achieve the highest heights or the lowest lows, you did it your way.
Hell yeah.
Like Frank said, I did it my way. And you got to go with it, man. Red
Hell
pack,
yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
I appreciate you for having me, man. Because
No, definitely,
like I
definitely. I
said,
appreciate you for coming on. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your any phone calls you're giving, any texts you'll send my way. I always appreciate it, man. There's only one Jay Brown, that's for sure, man. It's
no,
wild, man.
there's another one. I got a brother. He's a Jay Brown. I got a son. He's a Jay
Oh,
Brown.
damn, there's a few Jay Browns.
It's a bunch of us, man. Hey, we're around. I mean, in Louisiana, we got like 533,000. So it's a lot of us running around here, man. But like I said, man, it's been an honor and a privilege, man. And I appreciate you for having me, man. And like I said, whenever you drop it, I'll post it, retweet it, or whatever, man, and some other ones as well, bro. Because I think what you're doing is noble and admirable, and it deserves recognition, and not recognition to, have you in a sense to where people will start to, remember what I told you, put that pedestal up, but recognition that you saw something, you had a passion for something, and you went with it, and it didn't matter how you did it or what you did with it. It was something that you felt here, and when you feel it here, that's all that matters. That, bruh, here is where it's the central compartment of everything in your body, from your head to your feet to your hands. Everything pumps through this subway station in your chest. And that's where love lives as well. That's why people say that, oh man, I love you, and they put hearts on it. Because that they know that it's the central location of where something starts. And you started with love, man. So like I said, man, keep up the great work, bro. Keep up the
I
great work.
appreciate
Don't
you. I
change.
will. I will, man. I promise. Thank you again. I can't wait to the next time I talk to you. And man, keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring people. Keep fighting. It's an honor to fight along with you. It's an honor to have you on here for real, man. So I appreciate you. I'll let you go home, man. It's what is it, 9 p.m. where you are?
Yeah,
God damn.
it's I don't even know what time it is, man. And like I said, man, I'll dedicate this to my brother. I lost a brother Friday of last week, and it's been a struggle for me. But at the same time, he and my other brothers and sisters, we were all built to be leaders. We were all built to fight through stuff. And sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's not. But at the end of the day, man, like I say, I dedicate what I do to representing my family well. And, to his daughters and his son, um, I'm sorry for your loss, but at the same time, Uncle be there. Um, we'll try to figure it out together as a family. And like I said, man, it's you can't shut down even when you want to. So after I get off of this with you, I'll probably, go get back into bed and be like, ah, but for this moment, you allowed me to step out of that to exist in something that others not only support me in, but they participate at that level too, because you never know what somebody's going through, man. So I appreciate you for letting me, get some stuff off my chest and feel good for a minute, and then I can go back and deal with that, man. So it's just been great. So I appreciate you having me.
Man. Oh man. Again, I am so sorry, and I appreciate. I'm honored that I could help do that for an hour, man, hour or two here, and I'm always here, and man, yeah, it's my honor again for real, and I know knowing you and the way you talk about your family and your brothers, and like he was a great guy, and you got great people around you, and I'm glad that his kids have you, and I'm sure your siblings are just like you, and it I
You
can't
mean
imagine.
you
I
mean
can't
crazy? You mean crazy? Yeah, they are crazy, just like yeah,
imagine.
they are a little touched, but at the same time they're super professional, and bro, like I said, man, a lot of people are not blessed with family. Um, but like I said, man, the family that I have, the extended family I have, they've always been supportive, and I would cover the ends of the earth for them. And it's just one of those things where there are people who are not family by blood. I do the same thing for. Like I said, bro, folks will say little stuff to me, but they don't understand, man, that I've given all of my personal information to the so-called enemy so that I can represent at the level I have. Like seriously, like my driver's license number, my address, college stuff, what I did, what I've worked for the past 10, 15 years, but they just think, oh, you just up there because you're friends with somebody. No, they asked me if I was willing to do that. And I thought this mission that we were on, this thing that we were on was worth it. And not everybody is willing to give up their anonymity, but I believe that it is well worth it. And I get nervous sometimes, and I'm like, man, these people are gonna come after me. And my buddy told me, he said, man, trust me, if they had something on you, they would have used it already. And I'm like, that is true because I pretty much tell everybody all about me. So it ain't like it ain't like your opposition research is gonna work too good. So I don't know what to tell you, but thank you, man, for having me, Brad. I'm gonna go ahead and get up, go get me a Mountain Dew, play with the dog a little bit, and get in the bed, man. So I appreciate you having me, bro.
I appreciate you anytime. Anytime you're welcome back on, man. And again, thank you for what you're doing. It's inspiring me, it's inspiring others, and yeah, man, it's just incredible. And again, an honor to have you on. I'll let you go. We might go for another half hour if I keep talking, man.
Yeah,
So